Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the Nokia 2320. This is a very low-end phone that's great for calling and also for texting, but it doesn't really have many functions other than that. There's no camera on the back, there's also no Bluetooth on board, so you're limited just to really calling people. It has pretty good battery life and also great reception quality. It's also part of AT&T's GoPhone network plan, so it's a prepaid handset that you can purchase for just 30 bucks online and also through in-store vendors. So it's very cheap and overall very affordable for kids as well as a backup phone in general. Taking a look at the build quality of a 2320, it's pretty good. It's crafted out of a plastic material and some polycarbonate parts, and overall it feels relatively nice in the hand, although it doesn't have any metal construction quality or anything like that. The top of the handset is dominated by the earpiece, the Nokia logo, and also the LCD display, which is fairly bright and vibrant. And below that, you have access to a 5-way navigation toggle, to soft keys, talk and end keys that dubs as the power key, and the T9 style layout, which is a bit small for the keyboard. It's not too bad, although the keys could be more raised above the surface. If you're texting by feel, it could be slightly challenging, although each of the keys are pretty tactile and easy to press. On the left-hand side, you have access to the port, which is covered by a protective flap for the charging and also for the headphones. Unfortunately, the headphone port is a non-standard 2.5 millimeters, so you will need an adapter if you plan on listening to music with a 3.5mm jack. On the top, there's a piece for you to remove the back cover, which has this interesting texture on it, which makes it easy to grip, while you'll find access to the SIM card slot, because this is a GSM quad-band world phone, and there's nothing else but a microphone on the very bottom. This phone does not have a volume rocker on the sides, which is one of the main concerns that we had. Even though it's a very budget-oriented phone, if you're calling someone, you have to remove the call from your ear and then go through the settings up and down using the keys, rather than just changing the volume by using the volume rocker when calling someone. So it's not as convenient as it really could have been. With that being said, we're generally fans of environments. You notice that there is a backlight on the 2320, which is actually a bluish hinge. It actually looks fairly futuristic, and the display on the 2320 is also fairly good. It offers bright colors, it has good saturation, and images and text looks relatively sharp, especially for a budget-oriented device. With that being said, viewing angles aren't the best, but as long as you're not watching any videos or anything like that, this is still going to be a decent screen for texting, calling, and basic web content. Taking a look at the menu, it's very simple. It's layered in the grid T9-like layout. There's access to your email, to your messages, recent calls, mobile care, app center for downloading more games and apps. There's a mobile web that's not really good and it's a bit slow, but it does the job. There's also My Stuff, which you have access to your tones, images, games and applications, multimedia, and tools. That really includes things like a calculator and a converter. In terms of games, it's a little bit slow to load sometimes. There's access to trial versions of Miss Pac-Man, Midnight Billiards, and so on and so forth. Some other games that you can use to waste away your time. If you are on a train or you're waiting for your plane to arrive in the airport, it's a good purpose for that. There's also applications that you can use for browsing the web. There's a mobile version of Wikipedia, which is nice, an IM client, mobile banking, mobile email, weather channel. So these are nice little shortcuts to the web that are integrated and also designed just for this phone, which is pretty nice. There's also access to an address book that you can use for storing your contacts, and through settings you can change the profile. Like if you're in an airport, you want to turn the wireless settings off, or you want to turn the sounds on and off. You can also change the themes, which is the color in the background of the phone, that displays brightness, saturation, the time and date, how to sync and back things up, and the connectivity options. So it's a pretty standard interface here. It actually is relatively speedy, and there's not too much really to learn about. It has a pretty easy to use interface that's well organized, and we think that Nokia did a pretty good job here. So speeds here, you're limited to 2.5G, so not really fast either, but at least it's something that you do have if you want to browse the occasional web page online. It's going to be the mobile version, not the full site, of course, but you do have that option. You have an alarm clock on here, which the speaker actually is pretty loud, and also a to-do list and a notes pad that you can use to peck out some memo pads and some notes for yourself. As far as call quality goes, it's actually excellent on this phone, as you would expect. The reception is really strong, and also the microphone does a good job of picking up your sound, and as a result, you have a very pleasing experience when calling people. They thought that we were actually using a land phone a lot of the times, rather than using a cell phone, which is always a plus. And so overall, we are pleased with the call quality. Battery life lasted us about a week before we needed to recharge it, which is excellent, especially by today's standards where smartphones run out of juice every day, so it's going to be a great emergency phone for those purposes. It lasts even longer on standby mode. So overall, this is a great phone if you want to use it as a backup phone or for kids or for the elderly. Nokia 2320 is well designed. It features a nice, pleasing aesthetic and also a good feature set in general. Although there are a few limitations, including the absence of a volume rocker and the fact that the speeds are occasionally sluggish, overall we do think this is a good option, again, if you are considering it as a inexpensive, bargain-oriented GSM quad-band world phone. To check out more information, you can read our full written review on our website. This has been our video review here at OS Reviews. Thanks for watching. This is a Nokia 2320.